BBC journalist Katty Kay just dropped a truth bomb on women's basketball, one that has fans completely divided. Some say she's just stating the facts, while others believe she's ignoring a major part of the story. So, what exactly did she say? And why is the basketball world buzzing? Women's basketball has never been bigger. The stadiums are packed, TV ratings are skyrocketing, and names like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are dominating headlines. But here's the twist. While most people see both players as key figures in this revolution, Katty Kay seems to think otherwise. Her recent interview has sparked a major debate about who's really driving the sport's growth. But here's the big question. Does Katty Kay have a point, or is she completely overlooking something crucial? When a respected international journalist weighs in on a fast-growing sport, it's not just talk, it shapes the way the world sees it. And that's exactly why her words matter. In this video, we're breaking down exactly what Katty Kay said, why her comments are so controversial, and what this means for the future of women's basketball. So buckle up, because this conversation is about to get intense. The debate started during a discussion between BBC journalist Katty Kay and ESPN analyst Monica McNutt about the rapid growth of women's basketball. The conversation was meant to highlight how the sport has reached new heights, but it quickly turned into a heated discussion about who deserves the most credit. Katty Kay, an experienced journalist known for her sharp analysis, joined ESPN's Monica McNutt to discuss the rise of women's basketball. The key topic? The sport's record-breaking viewership and the factors driving this surge. But instead of focusing on the overall progress, Kay placed most of the credit on one player, Caitlin Clark. Throughout the conversation, Kay repeatedly emphasized Clark's impact. She praised Clark's ability to attract massive audiences, sell out arenas, and bring mainstream attention to women's basketball. But as Kay kept the focus on Clark, Angel Reese's contributions were barely mentioned. To many, it felt like Reese and other talented stars were being sidelined in the discussion. Kay argued that Clark's rise isn't just a fluke, it's a historic moment in sports. She compared Clark's influence to past legends, suggesting that she is the primary reason for women's basketball's newfound popularity. According to Kay, Clark's ability to dominate on the court, her deep three-pointers, and her electrifying style of play have made her the face of the sport. One of Kay's most talked about statements was when she pointed out Clark's identity as a white girl from Middle America. She explained that this plays a role in why so many fans connect with her. The comment immediately sparked controversy. Some agreed, arguing that Clark's background has helped her gain more visibility. Others felt this downplayed the contributions of black athletes like Reese, who have also played a huge role in growing the sport. Throughout the interview, Monica McNutt pushed back against Kay's narrative. She reminded viewers that Angel Reese, Juju Watkins, and many other stars have also driven women's basketball's growth. McNutt argued that while Clark is a major factor, the success of the sport is bigger than just one player. But despite her efforts, Kay kept steering the conversation back to Clark, reinforcing her belief that Caitlin Clark is the game changer. This back and forth left fans divided. Was Kay simply stating the truth, or was she ignoring the broader impact of other players? That's the debate that continues to rage on. The rivalry between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson changed basketball forever. Their battles in college and the NBA turned the sport into a global phenomenon, bringing in millions of new fans. Now, Katty Kay is suggesting that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese could do the same for women's basketball. If history repeats itself, their rivalry could be the key to taking the sport to even greater heights. Just like Bird and Magic came from completely different backgrounds, so do Clark and Reese. Larry Bird was a small-town kid from Indiana, known for his quiet demeanor and relentless work ethic. Magic Johnson, on the other hand, was a flashy, charismatic star from Michigan who brought a different energy to the game. Fast forward to today, and we see something similar. Caitlin Clark, the sharpshooting sensation from Iowa, represents a more traditional Midwest sports culture. Angel Reese, a dominant and confident player from LSU, embraces her big personality and unapologetic swagger. Their differences aren't just about playing styles. They symbolize two distinct cultural and demographic backgrounds, which makes their rivalry even more compelling. Just like Bird and Magic brought in different audiences to the NBA, Clark and Reese are doing the same for women's basketball. Their contrasting styles, Clark's deep three-pointers and playmaking versus Reese's physical dominance and defensive toughness create must-watch matchups. Every time they face off, it's an event. Ticket sales skyrocket, TV ratings surge, and social media explodes with debates about who's the real star. This kind of rivalry is what keeps sports fans engaged. The back-and-forth competition, the storylines, and the emotions behind each matchup make people tune in. Without Magic, Bird's rise wouldn't have been as legendary. And without Bird, Magic wouldn't have had the same level of impact. The same could be true for Clark and Reese. This is where Katty K's argument misses a key point. She puts most of the attention on Clark, but history shows that rivalries, not just individual stars, are what truly drive a sport forward. Bird alone didn't make basketball a global phenomenon. His battles with Magic did. The same thing is happening in women's basketball. Clark's impact is undeniable, but without Reese and other competitors, the story wouldn't be as exciting. The tension, the contrast, and the competition between them are what's keeping fans hooked. That's why this isn't just about one player. It's about a rivalry that could change women's basketball forever. K's bold question, can women's basketball sustain this growth beyond Clark's stardom? Katty K didn't just highlight Caitlin Clark's impact on the court. She asked a much bigger question. Can women's basketball continue to grow once Clark is no longer the center of attention? Right now, the sport is booming. Viewership records are being shattered. Ticket sales are through the roof, and major brands are investing like never before. But is this just a temporary surge fueled by one superstar, or is it the start of something bigger? Even NBA legend Magic Johnson has weighed in on the conversation. He recognizes that Caitlin Clark isn't just a great player. She's changing the entire business model of women's basketball. More people are watching, more companies are sponsoring, and more money is flowing into the sport than ever before. This moment feels similar to when Johnson and Bird entered the NBA. Their rivalry didn't just entertain fans, it made basketball a primetime sport. Now, Clark is doing something similar, turning women's basketball into a must-watch event. But the real question remains, can the sport sustain this momentum, or is it too reliant on Clark's star power? One of K's main arguments is that Clark is the face of women's basketball's business boom. She has the look, the skills, and the personality that brands love. From major shoe deals to national ad campaigns, Clark is bringing mainstream attention to the sport like never before. It's undeniable that her marketability is driving much of the current success. When Clark plays, arenas sell out. When she's on TV, ratings spike. Brands want to associate with her because she's not just a basketball player, she's a movement. However, focusing only on Clark ignores the bigger picture. Angel Reese, along with other stars like Juju Watkins and Paige Buckers, is also shaping the future of the sport. Reese brings in a different audience, one that connects with her bold personality and confident playstyle. She has her own major endorsements, a strong social media presence, and a loyal fan base that rivals Clark's. It's clear that Clark is the biggest name right now, but the success of women's basketball isn't resting on her shoulders alone. Reese and others are helping drive the sport forward, making it a more diverse and dynamic product. This is the real challenge. Right now, college women's basketball is thriving. But can the WNBA take advantage of this momentum? Historically, the WNBA has struggled with attendance, TV ratings, and sponsorship deals compared to the NBA. But with stars like Clark, Reese, and others entering the league, this could be a turning point. The key will be making sure the league builds on this excitement. That means better marketing, improved player salaries, and stronger media coverage. If the WNBA can successfully transition this college-level hype into professional success, women's basketball could be on the verge of a long-term boom. But if the league fails to adapt, all this momentum could fade once Clark and Reese move on. The stakes are high, and the future of the sport is hanging in the balance. During the discussion, ESPN's Monica McNutt found herself in a tricky position. She wasn't just there to analyze the sport, she also had to balance the conversation. While Katty K focused heavily on Caitlin Clark's influence, McNutt made a conscious effort to bring Angel Reese and other rising stars into the spotlight. McNutt made it clear that Clark is an incredible player, but she wasn't willing to let the conversation revolve around just one name. She pointed out that Angel Reese has also played a massive role in growing the popularity of women's basketball. It wasn't just about Clark breaking records. Reese has built a brand, drawn huge audiences, and embraced the spotlight in a way that few women's basketball players ever have. McNutt also mentioned other rising stars like Juju Watkins, who could be the next face of the sport. By shifting the focus beyond just Clark, she reminded viewers that women's basketball isn't being carried by one person. It's a movement with multiple key players. A major point of discussion was the way the media covers women's basketball. Many fans argue that Caitlin Clark gets an overwhelming amount of attention compared to other athletes, even those with similar skills or impact. McNutt didn't outright accuse the media of bias, but she did acknowledge the imbalance. Clark's ability to break records and dominate the court has made her a media favorite, but does that mean other players are being overlooked? Some believe Reese, who won a national championship and has been just as influential in shaping the culture of the sport, deserves more recognition. This isn't a new debate in sports. Historically, media outlets tend to focus on the most marketable stars, which often leads to an uneven distribution of coverage. McNutt's role in the conversation was to highlight this reality while making sure Reese and others weren't left out of the narrative. Despite the media and fan debates, McNutt made one thing very clear. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese respect each other. Their rivalry may fuel headlines, but off the court, there's mutual admiration between them. This is an important point because fan discussions can sometimes turn toxic. While some people see the Clark versus Reese debate as a racial or media-driven divide, the reality is that both athletes recognize each other's greatness. Their competitiveness is part of the game, but it doesn't mean they dislike each other. The discussion ended with a crucial question. Is the media too focused on Caitlin Clark, or is this just how star-driven sports work? Every major sport has had a defining star, Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, LeBron James, who captures the spotlight more than others. Is Clark simply that star for women's basketball, or is there a bigger issue at play? McNutt's perspective offered balance to the debate. Instead of completely dismissing Kay's points, she expanded the conversation to make sure other athletes were recognized. In the end, the discussion wasn't just about Clark versus Reese. It was about how women's basketball as a whole is evolving and how the media chooses to shape its narrative. One of the most fascinating aspects of this debate is Caddy Kay's background. Unlike most sports analysts discussing women's basketball, Kay isn't American. She's a British journalist. This gives her a unique perspective, one that isn't shaped by the same cultural influences as American sports media. As someone who didn't grow up immersed in the US sports landscape, Kay looks at women's basketball from a broader, global perspective. While American analysts often focus on NCAA rivalries, WNBA dynamics, and domestic media narratives, Kay approaches the discussion from a more neutral standpoint. This outsider viewpoint allows her to see trends that might be overlooked in the US coverage. She recognizes the massive impact Caitlin Clark is having on the sport, but she also evaluates it in a way that isn't tied to long-standing American basketball debates. One argument in favor of Kay's take is that she doesn't carry the same cultural or racial biases that often shape American sports discussions. The media in the US has a history of favoring certain athletes based on marketability, background, or playing style. Caddy Kay's comments have sparked a major discussion in the world of women's basketball, shining a light on the divide in fandom and media coverage. Whether you agree with her take or not, one thing is clear: this conversation isn't going away anytime soon. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have each played a crucial role in the rise of women's basketball. Clark's deep three-pointers and record-breaking performances have captured mainstream attention, while Reese's dominant presence, leadership, and fiery personality have fueled intense competition. No matter which side of the debate you're on, both players have changed the game in their own way. Women's basketball is experiencing unprecedented growth, with record-breaking viewership, increased sponsorships, and a rapidly expanding fan base. But what happens next? Can the sport sustain this momentum beyond individual stars? Or will the conversation remain focused on just a few key names? What do you think? Was Caddy Kay right about Caitlin Clark's singular impact? Or is Angel Reese being underestimated? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you love conversations like this about the future of women's basketball, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth discussions and analysis. Your support helps us keep bringing you the best sports content,